Avatar Fire and Ash was incredible in many, many ways, and very well could be the best Avatar movie of the trilogy so far. And here's why. There are many prevailing themes in Avatar Fire and Ash. One of the biggest ones is greed. Greed of human beings. We've seen that in Avatar 1, we saw it in Avatar 2, and now we're seeing it in Avatar 3. And we know that greed leads to destruction. Another thing that we saw is that family, it's not always just by blood. It's a choice and it is a sacrifice. We saw this throughout the movie time and time again. And we also see that Pandora is a place that gives chances to the most unlikely of people. We saw in Avatar 1 that Jake Sully was accepted by the Na'vi. Then we saw in number 3 that Spider was accepted by the Na'vi. Just because he doesn't look like an Avatar, his heart was there, and he was by all means a Na'vi. Even though he didn't look and sound and run like they did, he was part of their clan. And that's what was special about this movie, is it was all about family. It had some really, really incredible moments.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Avatar fan. When the first movie came out in 2009, it was so hyped up. I went and saw it. I've probably seen it a couple times. I have not cared for it. But going to see this movie, there's obviously a lot of hype around it, a lot of build up with the story, and so I was like, I'm going to give it another chance after 1 and 2. And I gotta say, I really like this movie, and I think the reason I liked it so much is because we're in a part with the story now where they've built up over 2 movies this family dynamic, and that family piece is what sticks out to me the most. And I think what resonates with audiences the most, to where you're really like caring for these characters, and because there's so many characters to keep track of. The Sully family is huge now. There's so many characters, adopted kids, real kids. But Jake, the way he leads his family is very inspiring, and I think the way that a man should lead his family, he's carrying the weight of his family's grief and their struggles and this war on his shoulders. He's seen as this like mythical figure essentially to all the clans in Pandora. And he's dealing with his wife who's grieving the loss of their child from Avatar 2. And he's trying to help her, and he's still saying, like, you can't live like this. You can't live with hate. And on the flip side of that, he's dealing with rebellious teenagers, sons who just want his approval and want to be seen by him. And I love how he eventually got to a place to where he was just leading his sons and teaching them how to be men. And you saw at the end, towards the end of the movie, he was like, "You're my wingman," to his son Loak. And they went in and battled it out together. That's what a son wants from their father, like to be able to see their father and look up to him and say, "Hey, how can I be that man that I aspire to be?" And that's what Loak wanted to do, and that's what him and Jake did at the end. They fought together side by side. And the rest of the family followed that. I mean, like, we know that, like, when a man leads his family properly, loves his family properly, the rest follow. You even saw that too with Spider. Spider is obviously an adopted son. He's the real son of Korich. But, Spider wanted to be the son of the Solis more than he wanted to be the son of Korich. I thought that family dynamic and that message was something you don't see in movies nowadays. This, like, the nuclear family and a man leading his family and the husband and wife banding together as, a unit, and the kids following that.
And what was really special about it is Neytiri is a fierce woman, like a fierce warrior, and she still paid respect to her husband. Like, even at the beginning of the movie, she said, "I'm not going to disrespect you in front of that woman." She had the disagreement behind closed doors out of respect for her husband, and they discussed it as husband and wife, as a family unit, and he listened to her. And they had disagreements, but then he came back and he loved her the way that he needed to love her, which was really special. There's a lot of elements in here, one of them being the human element versus the Na'vi element, and her having hatred in her heart towards humans. And then Sully literally looking at her and saying, "Hey, I'm human. Your kids are part human." Like, they're part human inside, because they were having this internal dialogue and then external debate about whether they need to keep Spider or not. And what was so special about that is that ultimately led to Sully deciding, "Hey, I'm going to have to kill him, because they're going to try to take his DNA and repurpose it so that all of these greedy humans can then breathe our air and then take over. Like they've destroyed Earth, they're going to destroy Pandora and all its beauty and wonder." That was a really special part, Austin. Obviously, me and you talked about that. There's a lot of biblical parallels with this. I immediately turned to Austin and said, "Hey, man, this reminds me of Abraham." And obviously, Jesus Christ, of course. But it was very reminiscent of Abraham taking his son up to literally slaughter him like Jake was going to do. And then I got tears in my eyes because I have 3 kids of my own. And you thought Jake loves this kid like his own. And he was willing to kill him for basically out of obedience to a greater cause. His son literally turns around and says, "Hey, Dad, I just want to know, do you love me?" And he's like, "More than ever. I love you
Mhm.
so much." That was like one of the most special moments of the entire movie to me, and something that will resonate with me for a really long time. A lot of biblical parallels. Before we get any further, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very Abraham and Isaac. Anybody out there watching this is familiar with scripture. I mean, God called Abraham to take his son Isaac up to the mountain and sacrifice him and be obedient to God. Jake decided that, hey, I got to do this for the greater good. And he even like prayed to Iwa, their goddess, before he did it and was like, take my son and like, be good to him. And he struggled with that. He was crying. And, he obviously he stabbed, but he didn't actually stab his son. And I think that that sacrificial element of a father having to do the hard thing and his son realizing the weight of that, because even Spider was like, you know, I'm ready to go now, because he realized what the purpose of that was. Scripture shows that God spared Isaac because it wasn't about killing Isaac; it was about something even greater. And this movie kind of did the same thing with that. So I thought it was probably the most powerful scene of the movie because it showed how far he was willing to go to protect his family and his people.
Just to piggyback off of your earlier point about a son just looking for the approval of his father, Spider wasn't looking for the approval of Quaritch. He was looking for the approval from Jake. That's
Yeah.
the approval he wanted. He wanted to be a part of that family. And that's ultimately why he got accepted by the Na'vi. That's ultimately why Kiri was able to channel the strength of Ewa and get him to be able to breathe on his own and breathe the air. And I thought it was really special that he looked at Loak and said, "Hey, you're my wingman." They went and took on the bad guys. But then in the end, it was not him and Loak anymore. It was him and Spider. It was his
Yeah.
other son, his adopted son. And that whole end battle was over Spider. It wasn't over Loak. For Spider to get accepted by the Na'vi at the end of the movie, and that's how it ends, was very special, very reminiscent to Avatar 1, where Sully wakes up as an avatar at the end of the first one. So there's a lot of parallels and a lot of things that were very similar in 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 ended very similar with battles from, actually all three of them end with Sully and Corch battling it out. And it's just like the ongoing, never-ending battle. I'm not gonna lie to you though, I like Corch, I like the actor, I like the voice actor. I think Sully's great too. And so if they keep on battling, like I said to you, Austin, he's never dead unless you see him on screen die. And even then, somehow they could possibly bring him back. He never showed that he was actually dead. And I said, hey, well, if they hit 2 billion, we know he's coming back for the fourth one.
I don't think he's dead. They didn't show it. They showed him scream as he's falling, but I mean, it's just funny that they're going to kind of rehash that. I mean, like this movie in some ways was very similar to Way of Water, but I think this movie was better just with a lot of those family elements that they kind of like strengthened. I don't think he's dead. I mean, I think he's going to continue to be a big part. I mean, I think the the Fire Clan with Varang, the leader, she's going to come back. I mean, she didn't die. She ran away because Kiri scared her. But they're going to continue to build upon these villains that are already there. And so I think that that's what 4 is going to be. I think like the humans are going to come back even stronger now because they realize like the strength of the Na'vi and what they're capable of. I think even Varang may actually join forces with the other clans now that she's seen how the humans like are defenseless and like they actually can't give her the power that she wants. So yeah, I think they're just going to continue to build upon this. I actually have no idea where this story is going. They're supposed to at least make 2 more. I think there's 5 movies was the plan. But I don't know what James Cameron's got. He's going to take a while probably to make the next 2. So I think the kids will become a bigger part. I think like Loak is going to grow up even more. There's probably going to be a time jump. I think they're really going to take that mantle that Jake has been preparing them for.
Yeah, it's going to pass on to the kids. I think that was always the plan.
Yeah.
And I think that Courage is gonna to join forces with Varang. I think that they're gonna become like an actual couple.
Okay.
And I'm interested to see where they take that. But James Cameron did say, he's like, do you ask a mom what her plans are when she's crowning or like when she just had a baby? He's like, don't ask me yet what my plans are for 4. I
Yeah.
just birthed a child. So like let this resonate first and then we'll go from there. So I think we're definitely going to get a 4th. This thing is projected to do really well. I think it's definitely going to hit 1 billion and much more. I truly enjoyed it. But let us know in the comments what you think. Did you like Avatar? Did you dislike it? Do you think it was too similar to the other two? And would you like to see in 4 and 5? And if you do want to see a 4 and 5, what would you like to see? And what would you like to see differently? But until then, we are Fandom Fix. See ya.